12 years ago, my life changed forever. A man came into my office desperate for help. Following a double knee replacement, he was no longer able to stand up for more than 2 minutes without being in excruciating pain, and getting up from a chair without the use of his cane had become virtually impossible. He was in constant pain. He was desperate. He was angry. And he was also very skeptical. Being a retired doctor, he had consulted every doctor, specialist, and physiotherapist. And according to him, none of them could help. I remember this moment vividly because he came into my office with all 5 of his daughters and his wife. And he asked me what I could possibly do to help. So I proceeded on explaining that I was going to optimize the sensory input going into his brain to change the way that his brain perceived where his body was in space. And as he stood up for the first time, pain-free and without his cane, all of them broke out in tears and ran towards me. It was one of the most inspiring moments I had ever felt, and it shaped my career and my life. I'm a posturologist, but not the type of posture specialist that's going to give you stretching exercises to loosen your muscles. I'm more interested in the way that our brain communicates with our body. And what I want to do today is challenge our definition of posture and the impact that it has on our lives. So when I say posture specialist, most of us think about standing up straight. Some of you are doing it right now. Telling our children not to slouch. Some of us might even think that text messaging, being on the computer all day, or even walking with a heavy bag might be the cause of poor posture. Well, what if I told you that our posture has nothing to do with any of these things? Because guess what? We can't control our posture consciously. Our posture is controlled by the unconscious part of our brain, just like heart rate and breathing, so we can't actually try harder to have better posture. Let me explain. Our brain is the master computer, and our muscles respond to its commands. Our brain allows our muscles to move based on 2 fundamental rules. Our feet must be aligned on the ground, and our eyes must be aligned with the horizon. Our posture is developed over time through our experience of the environment with our feet and our eyes. From the moment that we are born, we feel the ground with our feet, and we see the world with our eyes. This eventually helps us raise our head, which strengthens our neck and back muscles to allow us to walk. So when we talk about posture, the development of our feet and our eyes is key. Let's change gears for a second and compare our body to a Formula 1 car. Our feet represent the wheels, and our eyes the steering wheel. If the feet, or if the wheels, were misaligned or uneven, it would be easy to understand why the car would eventually break down. It would be easy to understand that the performance of the car was secondary to the state of the car. Well, think of our body. It is that Formula 1 car. The tricky part here is that we don't know that we're misaligned. We can't imagine standing or moving in any other way than we've learned how to move. And where that comes into play is when we start to feel aches and pain, when our body starts breaking down. But before that, we might have noticed that our shoes are wearing out unevenly, that our head is always tilted on one side, or even that one shoulder or one hip is always lower. Now, because these postural imbalances are common, that's 90% of the world's population, we come to believe that they are normal, but they are not normal. Let's talk about one area that's essential for good posture, our feet, the wheels of our Formula 1 car. The weight distribution on our feet tells our brain where our body is in space. The sensory receptors in the skin of our foot are connected to the intrinsic muscles of our spine to help us fight gravity efficiently. A foot imbalance is actually quite common. 72% of us have some kind of foot imbalance and don't know it. That's 72% of kids, of the elderly, 72% of the people in this room today are already unbalanced. Our tires are uneven. Now, here is a professional cyclist who, after improving her foot posture, was able to reduce her bow-leggedness, which was at the cause of her knee pain, in just 3 months. Now, let's talk about the other extremity of the body, our eyes. The way that our eyes move allows our brain to telegraph the exact position of our head on our shoulders. An eye muscle imbalance, also known as convergence disorders, is quite common. 9 people out of 10 have an eye muscle imbalance. As seen here, the child's left eye, is unbalanced. Now, why is this important? Well, because the way that our eye moves allows us to calculate distances properly. Is the car here or here? It also affects our reading and writing skills. Is it an 8 or is it a B? This is where we may end up with a child that ends up reading the words backwards, not because they see the word as backwards, but because their eyes end up at the end of the word and then come back to the beginning, and they don't realize that that's what's happened. And because we position our body according to what we see, an eye muscle imbalance also causes postural and muscular imbalances. Over time, these postural imbalances cause chronic pain. And chronic pain causes chronic inflammation. And that's dangerous. Why? Well, because chronic inflammation is at the cause of many serious diseases like heart disease, some forms of cancer, and neurodegenerative conditions like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease. Now, here's an 8-year-old girl who, after improving her foot posture and her eye movements, was able to improve her posture in just 3 weeks. So when we talk about posture, our feet and eyes is key. So why are we not looking at the brain when it comes to conditions like lower back pain, knee pain, hip pain, shoulder pain, cognition, digestion problems, or even chronic pain? Well, because our healthcare system is not designed to prevent. It is designed to manage symptoms. And because no one is truly looking at the real cause of our pain, our feet and our eyes, our postural imbalances remain. Over time, these postural imbalances will force us and prevent us from moving properly. Now, there is a direct correlation between our pain, our posture, and our quality of life. Let me show you. Is there anyone in the audience, ideally in the first few rows, that has lower back pain right now? Yes? Come. Hi. Good yourself? What's your name? Atena. Atena. Nice to meet you. So what I'm going to do with Atena is I'm simply going to ask her to look at the tip of this pen. And what I want us to look for is to see if one eye is having a harder time focusing on the target. Atena, do you, out of 10, what is the pain level that you have right now? 10 being the most, 1 being the least? 5, 6 at this present time. Okay, can you face the audience for me? So just try to relax. And here we go. I'm going to position the pen. Look straight ahead, please. And look at the tip of the pen. The tip. So we could see that Atena's left eye is not converging properly. Now, because we position our body according to what we see, Atena will have a postural imbalance. In this case, a lower shoulder. Let me show you. Please look straight ahead and try to relax. Here we go. Just relax. So we could see that Atena's right arm is longer. So I'm now going to proceed on stimulating, I should say optimizing, the sensory input going in Atena's brain by doing simple eye exercises. The first step is simply to draw a line on her index finger, right over here. So we have it right here. And then I'm going to proceed on doing clockwise circles. So Atena, I'm going to ask you to look straight ahead, and let me just guide you like this. Give me your finger, and I want you to focus on the line. You have it? So let your eyes move. All right, so what I'm doing now is simple clockwise exercises. Clockwise for Atena, anti-clockwise for the audience. I'm going in and out, and I'm simply forcing her eyes to work together. Beautiful. Are you okay? Very good. All good? Is your pain still 5 out of 10? 3, 4. So there's a bit of an improvement. Let's see how her eyes are moving. So we'll do the same test as we did before, so if you can look straight ahead. And please look at the tip of the pen. And we could see that there's a slight improvement. So if her eyes are moving better, then her posture will also improve. Let's look at your shoulders. Thank you, Atena. So, as a quick recap, the eye exercises need to be performed 3 times a day for approximately 30 seconds. The first step is simply to draw a line on your index finger, your dominant index finger, which means that if you're right-handed, it will be your right hand, and if you're left-handed, it will be your left. Now, I want you to start approximately at 15 centimeters and bring your finger close to your nose until you feel that your eyes are straining. At this point, I want you to start doing clockwise exercises, clockwise for yourself, and no higher than your mid-forehead, no lower than your nose, not passing the borders of the face. Repeat 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and at supper time. So, eye exercises are a quick and efficient way to instantly align our posture and decrease our pain. By seeing our posture not as a result of biomechanical structure, but rather as a result of continuous unconscious brain output, we can change our therapeutic approach. Our focus shifts upstream to the brain and not downstream to the muscles and joints. Tiny tweaks lead to big changes in just 1 minute a day. 1 minute a day. So every day, let's do some eye exercises so that we can improve our brain-body connection. But let's also share the science because it is simple, because it is logical. Share it with our friends, share it with our family so that we can help improve their lives, so that we can help shape their lives. When talking about true prevention, looking at the brain is key. We can't afford to live with poor posture. We cannot afford to live with pain, but we can afford 1 minute a day to change faulty motor patterns and give ourselves a chance at a better quality of life. Thank you.